Hello and welcome. We are back with more things that need to be done to make this country better. This is part 4, and in today's video, we're talking about taxing the fuck out of the rich. Because you're not supposed to make so much that other Americans would never, ever, ever reach that point in lifetime. No, that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. Who owns American wealth? As of 2023, the top 1% of American households own 30% or 30 cents of every dollar. In 2023, 97.5% of all net worth, totaling $139.4 trillion, was owned by 50% of Americans with above average net worth. The remaining 167 million Americans the other half owned about 2.6% or 3.6 trillion. So yeah. It shows how big of a fucking differential there is. And we have a little chart here showing since 1990 to 2023. Top is green, that's your top 1%. Blue is the 90th to the 99th percent. And dark blue is 50th to the 90th percent. And of course, at the bottom 50% is that little pink sliver. So yeah, this right here, these top 2 portions are just 10% of the country. 10. And the green is just 1% of the fucking nation. How much wealth does the top 1% own? As of 2023, the top 1% of American households own 30% net worth, or 30 cents of every dollar. This has risen from 22.8% in 1990 and 28.4% at the start of the 2008 recession, but is lower than a peak level of 30.9, which was in 2021. The total net worth of the top 1% in 2023 was 43 trillion. Now remember, we're talking trillion. That's 1 million billion. And a billion is 1 million million. So yeah. It gets ridiculous the more you think about how much of a difference there is. How has wealth distribution changed? More than 95% of the American wealth has been concentrated among the wealthiest half of American households for decades. In 1990, the top 50% by net worth held 96.6%, less than 1 percentage lower than the group share in 2023. That share peaked at 99.6% in 2010 and 2011, when the bottom half of the country's households by net worth held 0.5 and 0.4% of wealth, respectively. So yeah, when people tell me this bullshit, oh, we can't afford it. Fuck you. Fuck you. You clearly don't understand how much wealth is being hoarded by these bastards at the top. America could do a lot more for its citizens, but the greedy assholes at the top are taking the money and just holding on to it. They don't feel like doing anything to help people. This is from the board of the Federal Reserve System Distribution of Household Wealth in the U.S. since 1989. And this is by quarter. So it shows 1989 third quarter, top 0.1%. Had 1.76 trillion. While the bottom 50% had just 0.71 trillion, so not even $1 trillion. And then you add on to make it the top 10%, 7.77 trillion. Top 1%, 2.91 trillion. This is just 1%. This right here is 0.1. While this is the bottom 50% of Americans. More than likely a good chance you're going to be in that category. Now, let's squeeze ahead. Things are starting to look ugly. We're getting in double digits here for the top 0.1. Second quarter of 2024, 0.1%. Top 0.1% owned 20.87 trillion. While the top 1%, 25.84 trillion, and the top half, 56.31 trillion. That's top 10. Here's top half, 47.55 trillion. Maybe you gotta add these all together. Anyway, yeah. Bottom 50%, 3.82 trillion. That was their share of the wealth. It shows how big of a fucking wealth disparity there is in this fucking nation. Wealth inequality in the U.S. Earnings, okay. U.S. holdings of family wealth 89 to 2013. The top 10% of families held 76% of the wealth in 2013, while the bottom 50% of families held 1% of the wealth. Your bottom 50% is this little bitty sliver dark purple line. This is the bottom 90% if you add this deeper purple and then the slightly lighter purple. Then you add this. This is the top 10%, this light purple shade. Look how much fucking different it is. And again, people go, if you tax, it don't matter how much you tax. Fuck you, you cocksucker. Fuck you. Net personal wealth in the U.S. since 1962. Personal wealth. $62. Okay, what's the difference between... Okay, this starts at 1 million, this starts at 1,000. Just to really show you how different it fucking is. Your bottom half is just $1,000. If you look at it as the others, this is 90% of the population right here, these two lines. And if you look at it on the bigger scale map, look how high the fucking 1% goes. You don't see it on this map, but it shows it on this map. The average personal wealth of people in the top 1% is more than 1,000 times of that of people in the bottom 50. The logarithmic scale shows how wealth has increased for all percentile groups, though more so for wealthier people, which shows they have a fucking responsibility to help out those less fortunate than their ass. But they don't want to, and that's when you tax the goddamn fuck out of them. To put it into programs to help people. Average and median household wealth by age. Average and median household income by age group. Starting at the top, 18 to 24. Average wealth, median wealth. Yeah. Those 25 to 29 are even worse off. 30 to 34, you get back up to the 18-24 group, although the median wealth is actually much higher. Then it's 35 to 39 that has a decent grasp on wealth, with the average wealth being $257,582, while median is $40,667. Average, you add all together and divide by the number of individuals. And median is achieved by a different form. I'm trying to remember how median was picked up, but it's a different way to average out, and you can see the difference, which means the higher the blue is from the green means there's some extraordinarily wealthy people in the age groups further out. And we start to see how it expands the older we get, especially in the 60s. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Gets as high as your average being, and that's an average, not the high end or anything. No, that's average. Median, I'm trying to remember how that is picked up. That is killing me now. I haven't done statistics in so long. How is median obtained? Arrange the numbers of the set from smallest to largest. Determine if the number of values is odd or even. If the numbers of values is odd, the median is the middle number. If the number of values is even, the median is the average of the two middle numbers. So yeah, it's the direct middle number. While average is blue, this is just in the direct middle. So you've got a lot of poor people in the middle, and then up on the far end, you've got some rich fucks. Some rich people. It's fucking ridiculous. This chart right here shows a distribution of wealth under American presidents. Starting in this era, you're looking at Clinton right here. So this would be H.W. Bush. You have the bottom 50% and the top 1%. It's just slowly growing since Bush. Grows, 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 and hits like the last year of Clinton. Drops and comes back up under the second Bush. Back to where it was, drops. As you transition into Obama, which is your 2008 recession and stuff. And then it comes back up. They grow even further under Obama, and they keep going under Trump. While the bottom 50% from here, you're doing all right in Clinton, then they start to see a small decline, and it really drops under Bush. There's the 2008 recession. And you hit a point and where it kind of levels out. Yeah. While the rich get richer, the bottom 50% get nothing. Median household wealth and household wealth by percentile. Shows education on how it affects it. 1989 to current. U.S. household wealth by percentile. If you're in the bottom 10, 0. If you are in the bottom 25, you can get up to 16.5 thousand. Bottom half, 167,000. the bottom 75%, 605,000. Yeah, and then 90th percent, 1.6 million. Though the 10th percentile of American households have zero net worth, the 90th percentile has 1.6 million of household wealth. And then we have another chart here, median household wealth based on your degrees. No high school diploma, you barely make anything. High school diploma, alright. College, no degree, you could get close to 100,000. I call bullshit on that. As well as this one. If you got an associate's degree, they say, oh, you should be able to get around 125,000, which is what I've got, an associate's degree. Almost had a bachelor's. Which bachelor, it says, oh, you can get up to around 175,000. 170,000, something like that. And then graduate professional degree. Look how it fucking jumps. Oh, you should be able to get up to around 550,000. Fuck that shit. Median wealth by marital status. Single women, single men. They've kind of ended up joining the same line. Men barely edging out women in the single line. They used to be well above there, but women caught up there and they fell behind just a smidgen at the 65 age mark. So up to when you're 35-year-old or less, there's quite a division, 35 to 54. They catch up at 55 to 64, and then, of course, 65 plus, there's a small smidgen of a division. Meanwhile, married couples, that's almost 3 times that of single individuals, regardless of gender and across all age categories. So, yeah, look where they start out. Then boom. And an even bigger boom. It's like, individually we don't give a shit about you, but if you're married, we'll fucking pay you like crazy. Although when you hit this age, you don't really have a need for more money. I can understand here, you've got kids, but around this point, your kids should be getting to the point of age where they're moving out and everything, and you're on your own. What we got here, household net worth. But yeah, a lot of interesting little charts here. This is from Statista. Wealth distribution in the U.S. in the second quarter of 2024. The top 1%, this is in pie chart, 13.5% in the second quarter of 2024. Compared to the green, which is your bottom 50%. Your top 1% is this black and blue here. And this right here, top 10% of Americans own that much wealth in the second quarter of 2024, while the rest of Americans, the bottom 90%, are forced to survive on this little bit. Don't give me the bullshit that taxes can't be taken to help fucking fix a lot of the goddamn bullshit. Fuck you if you're trying to argue that shit. You're a fucking moron. And then distribution of wealth. Yeah. But I show you all these data sets, these charts, this information. The rich need to be severely taxed. And I'm talking something similar to the way Eisenhower did the taxes in the 1950s when America was growing at its greatest level. You got to keep your first, I think it was around $10 million. After that, the tax rate got as high as 90%. 90%. And who the fuck is gonna need more? I mean, honestly, you've got $10 million? You can live a normal life on that with no fucking problem several times over. But when you have that money, a lot of these fucks get greedy and greedy and greedy. And so now we've got people owning billions and billions upon billions and billions. And there's just no need for it. It should never be. There should be a no-cost healthcare system in this country. And it could be paid for through proper taxes. In fact, there are several data reports and everything that show that, yeah, it would actually be cheaper if a proper Medicaid for all type system was set up. But no, people fucking whine and bitch and try to get the poor to go against their own best interest. Your schooling, primary, secondary, and community college, I would even say state colleges, should be non-profit. They exist to educate. I know some people go, well, what about my college football, my college basketball? That should only be a secondary thing. It shouldn't be your primary thing. Period. Look, I like college football, but it should only be secondary to the education, which is the prime responsibility of universities and colleges. But yeah, definitely community college should be free. And then, like I said, I think even state colleges should be a not-for-profit situation. Because you're supposed to be there to help the average person. So, education, health care, home care, or homes, I should say. I think everybody should have access to some type of shelter, some type of home. It shouldn't be something that if you're poor, you get kicked out of your home. That should never fucking happen. I don't care about taxes in that instance. Look, you could have taxes, but in the end, they should never end up hurting people. Like, if you can't afford these taxes, you shouldn't go to jail. You shouldn't be kicked out of a home. Because guess what? You're not helping anybody in that situation if you do that stuff. Now, uh, let's see, shelter, healthcare, education, basic needs. We need to make sure they have food, they have what the necessities to help take care of a baby through most of its childhood. Um, let's see. The ability to afford other necessities, a certain level of funding for clothing and certain bills like electricity. Yeah, there are just some things that people need. And a lot of this can be done if we fucking tax the rich. Honestly, a lot of it could be done anyway if you believe in modern monetary theory, MMT, in which the government could handle a lot of this stuff, period. MMT doesn't work on the state and local levels because it's the federal government that produces the money, and thus they have the capabilities to control such things. But yeah. If you are determined to be wealthy, insanely wealthy, you have a fucking responsibility to have the funds taxed from you so that others can be taken care of. I mean, this shouldn't be, I'm wealthy, fuck you, you don't need to be alive. No, it should never be that fucking way. It should be you're wealthy and thus now you owe money to help protect and cover everybody else. Period. I don't give a shit what you may think. Wealth, inequality should never determine life and death. You have a fucking responsibility to be taxed, and that's how it should fucking go. Period. Done. No, there is no but. I'll kick your damn butt if you don't shut your damn mouth. Dumb fuckers being like, what about my money? Motherfucker. You have no right whatsoever to have enough money that you could never ever fucking spend, and people starve to death. People will be homeless. People put in the poorhouse because of health care. No, that should never fucking happen. Just like the fucking article I saw today when I did the news about Warren Buffett donating $1.1 billion to something and talking about, oh, and he wants to donate his $176 billion for when he dies. So he's already setting it up. Motherfucker. That shouldn't be. That money should be taxed and distributed among the average person. They shouldn't suffer just because you wanted to make more money. I keep saying we're in a second Gilded Age, and it's just like that. Andrew Carnegie. He was one of the richest men in America, alongside J.D. Rockefeller, during the first Gilded Age. And at the end of his life, he gave away all his money in charitable, philanthropic givings. No, he should have had his ass taxed and the money used to help the less fortunate. But no. We let ourselves get pushed into a situation where when they give money to this or that little charity in sprinkles, we're like, see how generous and nice they are? Fuck that shit. It should have never gotten to that point in the first place. Honestly. But yeah, there's things we should do that makes life for the average American so much better. And part of it is taxing the fuck out of the super fucking wealthy. Period. If the fuckers don't like it and they try to move, no, we'll retroactively fucking tax their ass for a final grab bag of close to their full fortune. I will not have little baby bitches, the billionaires, try to hide their shit overseas. No, fuck you. Fuck you. That shit ain't going down. But, yeah, this will be the end of this episode. As always, educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. Someone tells you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll be putting some sources and links in the description box below the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.